That's loud.
There he is.
All right, Rob, we're all set whenever you are.
We're good? Okay. Probably just in time for my dog to start to bark. Okay. Today is Thursday, August 27th, 2020. It's 7 o'clock. This is a meeting of the Zoning Board of South Kingstown, Rhode Island. My name is Rob Cagnetta. I'm the chair. Members present tonight are Thomas Daniels, Vice Chairman, Richard Jerzak, John Bernardo, Bill Mark is not here, right? And Bill Rosen. And Bill Rosen is the alternate, but he will be voting tonight. Also present is Wayne Pimentel from South Kingstown, the zoning board official, and Jamie Gorman, South Kingstown building inspector, Amy Goins, South Kingstown legal counsel, and Jessica Spence, who is our administrator extraordinaire. This board is made up of 7 people, and 5 of them are regular voting board members. 5 members are required to be present to vote. In the event one of the 5 members is not present, an alternate will step in, like tonight. The voting members will be myself, Mr. Daniels, Richard Jerzak, John Bernardo, and Bill Rosen. Applicants are here for a variance tonight, which is dimensional or use. There aren't any special use permits tonight. This board is a quasi-judicial body created by the South Kingstown Ordinance pursuant to state statutes. We don't follow strict rules of evidence, and we operate in what we believe to be fair and equitable manner. We try to let everyone speak unless they get carried away or determined not to be relevant. So in the interest of time, please try to be on point and brief. We'll do our best not to argue and keep things civil. And we'll try to have the last petition before 10 o'clock. When your petition is called, please come forward and clearly state your name and spell it for the record. Please speak clearly so everyone can hear you. You will then be asked to take an oath to tell the truth, and then you can present your petition along with any other witnesses that will testify in your support. The board will then ask for your witnesses, ask you or your witnesses questions. After the petitioner has presented their testimony, and anyone else with questions about the application or wanting to support or oppose the petition will be asked to step forward or come on mic here, and we'll explain later how to do that. They will identify themselves, be sworn in, and present their testimony, which may be followed up by questions by the board. Please do not direct questions to the petitioner or any of the witnesses. The board will ask those questions raised by the audience and allow for a comment period. After the hearing, all the testimony and before a vote is taken, board members will be asked to openly discuss the evidence presented. So you're aware, variance or special use permits require 4 of the 5 voting members to vote in favor of the petition for granting of the requested relief. Board members will ask a lot of questions, and this is for good reason. We cannot grant just anything we choose. There are rules to follow per our ordinance, and you have to give testimony to support your facts to allow the request to be approved. Tonight we have dimensional variances, and for variances, you must offer evidence to the board setting forth the following. The hardship is due to unique characteristics of the subject land or the structure and is not due to the general characteristics of the surrounding area. The hardship is not the result of any prior action on your part. And in granting the variance, it will not alter the general character of the surrounding area. The relief requested is the least relief necessary. And you must also show that the hardship that will be suffered if the variance is not granted will amount to a more than a mere inconvenience. Tonight we have 2 items on the agenda. And Jessica, if you could just please remind everyone how their voices are heard.
Sure. So tonight, I don't actually have anyone in the attendees column. So I'm not going to go over all of that unless someone pops up. So normally we keep video turned off until your petition is being heard, but with only the 2 petitions tonight, I'm just going to leave everyone's video on. I will leave you on mute until it is your turn, till your petition is called. It's going to run just like a normal zoning meeting. So the chairman will read the petition. You'll get a chance to speak. And then at that point, if anyone does show up in the audience as an attendee, he will ask if anyone wishes to speak either for or against. And at that point, I would allow them to speak. Other than that, there's really nothing much else to go over. There is a question and answer section, but again, that is only for technical questions. No type of questions relating to the petition should be heard. So again, I'm going to leave you on mute until your petition is read.
Thank you. My daughter's running through with a new haircut and color, so it's she usually doesn't happen at a zoning board meeting, I think. Okay, so anything else we have to go over before I read the first one in?
No.
We're ready to go. Okay. So we have the petition of Geraldine D. Venter of 813 South Road in South Kingstown, Rhode Island, 02879. This is for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is proposing to construct a 1-story addition onto the existing single-family dwelling. The addition will be located along Winterberry Lane, the corner side line. The proposed addition will be located 17.04 feet from the corner side property line. The required corner setback is 25 feet, so a relief of 7.96 feet is requested. Lot size is 27,878 square feet. The dimensional variance is required per our zoning ordinance 207, which is non-conforming lots of record and building setback requirements, and section 907, which is our standards for relief. The owner of the property is Geraldine V. Venter for the premises located at 813 South Road, which is map 47-2 and zoned R20. And who is here for this petition? Ms. Venter, are you
Here, what was the question?
okay? Ms. Venter, you are speaking on behalf of your petition?
Yes,
Okay. Is there anyone else, or is it just
my
you?
daughter Susan's here with me, Susan Venter White.
Okay. So, and could you please state your name and spell it?
Geraldine Viola Venter, Geraldina Viola, and Venter, V is some voice, Enter.
Great. And your daughter as well is going to speak?
Yeah, Venter White, Susan.
That's about-
Oh, I'm sorry, Susan, S-U-S-A-N, Marie, M-A-R-I-E, Venter, V like Victor, E-N-T-E-R, White, like the color, W-H-I-T-E.
Thank you. And do you both swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, oh, yes, there's gonna be a lot of
I
truth.
do.
Fantastic. So why don't you tell me a bit about what it is you would like to do?
All I want is a bedroom. That's all I want. If you don't want to give it to me, you're waiting for me to die, then that's fine.
Okay, so my mom is 80 years old, and she has had 3 hip surgeries, and so we want to put a bed and bath downstairs to make it just to make her life easier. I do travel. I live here now. I'm back and forth between here and Atlanta, and so I do travel a lot, and I really would rather her not climb stairs. So now what we're doing is, because of my travel, my work, she's sleeping on the bed couch in the family room. And we just I want something safer for my mom. And she would like that too. And I don't know what else to say.
So the location of the addition of the, why did you choose that side of the house?
Because there was a deck there, and I thought it'd be easier just to put it right there.
Right, and we
It's
were thinking it's
easy.
gonna be the same size of the deck, so really convenience.
So the deck is pretty much the same as, how close is it to the bedroom? Is it,
Well, it's gone now.
Go on,
We
Hannah.
took it down now, but it was on the back of the family room. There's a patio door and you would be able to slide that and go onto the deck. So we thought that would be a great place to put the bedroom.
and was it
Right
as
up.
close?
Over here.
Is it,
I'm
is it,
sorry,
is it as close to the property line as this addition, or was it in a different spot?
what, the deck?
The deck, yeah.
It's actually, the room is going to be right where the deck used to be. We had the deck taken down so we could put the addition on, and they started, and that's a whole other thing, but it's right where the deck used to be. It's not anywhere, it's not around the corner or anything like that. It's right where the deck used to be. It's just gonna be longer, but it's gonna be still as wide.
And the sliders, you're gonna keep the sliders, or that's gonna be essentially the entry into your addition?
Yes,
Where the
yes.
sliders were?
Mhm.
And board members, do you have any question for the applicants?
Yeah, I do have a couple of questions. Jess, can you bring up the site plan?
Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
Mm-mm. Oh, that's.
Okay, it's 2 or 3 pages after that.
Okay, let me just rotate this.
And it's a plumbing plan.
There you go.
Change that view again.
Here it is.
Okay, great.
I'm upside down though. Let me.
Yeah, it's
I'm
upside
sorry.
down. That's okay. Ms. Bentner, I wanted to ask you, I noticed on your site plan, which you're familiar with, of course, because you had it done by an engineer, is that correct?
Right.
Yes,
Okay. It looks like that your addition was placed there also to avoid interference with the sewer lines, is that correct?
yes, that is correct.
So you certainly don't want to have an addition over top of a sewer line, do you?
Well, actually, we put the sewer line in
Uh-huh,
and it goes around that
Right.
area.
okay. And that's to your benefit in case there was ever a problem with the sewer line, right? It wouldn't be covered by the building or the structure.
Right, and another reason we were told that if we're gonna have now 4 bedrooms, we
Right,
had to be connected to the town sewer.
okay, so,
So that's one of the many things we did to prepare for this.
okay,
to be
that's great.
included.
I don't have anything further at this point.
Thank you, Mr. Daniels. Anyone else have any questions for the applicants?
Yeah, I have a question. Along Winterberry, I went over there, there's a whole bunch of trees or plants there along that side of the property, which is the north side of the property.
Yep.
And I couldn't see very well whether you've started construction on the bedroom, and that's the reason you're here, is because something happened or not. Am I mistaken about that?
We did stop construction because you let us go. You told us that we could do it. I would have never had that done.
Okay, and so why are you here tonight?
I want to see why it's been taking me, I've been since April trying to get this bedroom done, since April.
And was there a mix-up on the measurement of the, with respect to the side yard?
I think the architect did that,
Yeah, I don't,
not us.
I'm not sure who or what.
And then you approved it.
Yeah, Bill, I can,
That's why they dug, because you approved
I can speak on that if you want.
Yeah, go ahead, Wayne.
When this application came into our office, the site plan was reviewed, but the indication of Winterberry Lane wasn't clear on the site plan. So the permit was actually issued for this, and it wasn't until the inspector went out for a foundation hole inspection that he realized how close this was to what is Winterberry Lane. And at that point, the project was put on a stop. And we then got the survey from through the architect's office, realized that where the proposed addition was going to be was in fact over the required setback line. So we informed both the architect and Mrs. Venter of the problem. Unfortunately, there was an error in our office in initially issuing it, but we could not let it continue any further until we came back before the board here to get the variance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like you to know that I do like a nice clean yard. My backyard looks horrible. And everybody thinks I live across the street with John Richmond. I know you know who he is. And his house looks awful. And I don't want to be, I do try to take care of my property. It looks terrible, my backyard. I'm
No.
ashamed of it.
Well, let's see if we can get this started for you again. So any other questions? Bill, did you have more questions?
Just to clarify with the building official that the applicant didn't do anything wrong here because she was issued a permit. Is that correct?
Absolutely not. They did nothing wrong. They were unfortunately the innocent victims. of this.
Okay, great. Okay.
Yeah, I've got one question, Rick Jerzak here. Okay, Ms. Venter, if you move the addition to the center of the yard, what else would it block off on the existing house? Are there windows? What's the configuration of the existing house? In other words, if you were to comply totally with the ordinance and moved it over 9 feet towards the middle of the property, would it block windows that are
Would
there
block
now?
windows in my dining room. Yes, it would.
It would. So it
I
would
have
make
3
the
big windows in my dining room.
Okay, let me expand on this then. So it'd block those windows, it would get rid of the light, it would generally affect the whole configuration of your living space, and it would clearly be a problem, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
yeah.
Okay,
And
thank
it'll
you.
be even more of a cost, and that's what we've been doing, just paying, and it's like, this is really affecting, the budget, but we're just trying to comply. We're just paying for things to get done so we can be in compliance, and then we're told, well, too bad.
Yeah.
Oops, you didn't do this. No
And then
one's.
they needed another $175 and
Yeah.
it's awful.
Yeah, and so.
And I would like you to also know that where you guys are in the South Town, I want you to know my grandfather built that where you're building there. My grandfather, Albert Thomas. Albert, I was brought up 3 streets over from you, Highland Avenue.
Now,
And there was
how long-
seven of us that owned the houses on Highland Avenue. And my uncles, Thomas's, Fowler's, Mazas, they all bought that property. And that's where I was brought up. So I am from South County. This was my grandparents' house.
And
that I'm
that's
in
why,
right
that's
now.
why we're so passionate about it.
Okay, so
because-
let me ask that then again. This was your grandparents' house, you didn't
Yes.
build a house?
On my father's side, Lester Reels, Sarah and
Okay.
Lester Reels.
Okay, and when did they build a house, do you know?
They didn't build it. They were the last owners of it.
Okay, all right.
We
so-
bought it from my cousin.
Okay, fine. Okay, thank you.
Is that it,
James
Mr.
Knowles.
Good? Yeah. Anyone else have questions for the applicant? Okay. Is there anyone, do you guys have anything to add to your application?
I guess I'm just feeling, and I don't even like to say victimized because I don't like to be victimized, but I just don't understand this whole process and the lack of communication. And I'm not just saying the board, there are other issues and people involved in it, but this is a family home. This has been in our family since I think the 20s at least. And this is something we want to continue. My dad, it was my dad's passion, who died, it'll be a year next week.
Next week.
And so, we're just really, I know I'm confused, and I know I did lash out to you guys, and I do apologize if I offended people, and I know I did because I can, and I do all the time. But I was just concerned. I'm really, this is my mom, so my emotions are going to be up here when it comes to my mother. And so I hope that if I did offend anyone, you would accept my apology. However, I am, I'm just confused and I'm kind of hurt. I've lived in away from Rhode Island for 34 years. I'm back now, and I'm just having a lot of issues with
Rhode Island.
adjusting to being here. I don't understand. So that's it. That's all I have to say.
I'm sorry you had to go through that. As a builder, as someone who does work with various building departments, I know it can be frustrating sort of navigating it. So I apologize for the whole industry about how
Yeah.
difficult it's become. But I mean, we're all here for the same goal, which is to get you guys right so you can move forward. So
You'll be surprised with
appreciate
the neighbors. Why do they get these letters? They're so silly. You're just trying to improve the property. They said, I know, they don't want us to.
well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, if you guys are finished, I can make sure that there is.
I know, I'm done.
Yeah. We're done. Thank you.
You're welcome. And Jessica, is there someone out there that may want to speak on behalf of this?
There's no one in the audience, Rob.
Board members, is there any thoughts on this?
Seems straightforward to me.
Yep. Okay. Well, if there aren't any objections or concerns, is there anyone that wants to make a motion?
Yep, I'll make a motion, Rick Jerzak. Okay. All right, this is the petition of Geraldine V. Venter with regard to 813 South Road, okay? South Kingstown, Rhode Island, okay? Ms. Venter came to us today and spoke, as well as her daughter, okay? Susan Venter White. They explained to us what they wanted to do and what they're looking to do. All they're looking to do is put on an addition on, I believe it's the north side, but it's the Winterberry Lane side of the property, okay? All they're looking for is a dimensional variance to allow them, okay, to place the premises or the addition 17.04 from the corner side yard property line. This is relief of 7.96 feet, okay? All right. They explained the addition in great depth. They told us all about it. They explained the configuration of the house. They explained where the sewer line was located. Okay. I asked that the board grant the variance. Okay. Going through section 907, our standards of relief. Okay. I'll go through these individually with regard to this property. First off, with regard to the hardship. Okay. Clearly, they have shown that there is a hardship, okay, that is distinct from the neighborhood in general due to the location of the house and due to the configuration of the rooms inside of the home. Also, there is a issue with the sewer line. They want to stay away from the sewer line as much as possible. So clearly, this is a distinct hardship, and they've shown that, okay? Secondly, okay, they did not build this house, okay? None of their prior actions caused this hardship, okay? House has been in their family for quite a while, okay? And they wanted to remain in their family, okay? Third, granting this variance, okay, will not alter the general characteristics of the area in general. For that matter, it would seem to make the neighborhood more pleasant looking, okay? It certainly fits in the residential character of the neighborhood, okay? Number 4, this is the least relief that is necessary due to the configuration of the house and the location of the sewer line, okay? They're pretty much, there's no other way to do what they want to do here, okay? And last, if we do not grant this variance, clearly, okay, this will amount to more than a mere inconvenience because they will not be able to do what this lady needs to be done at this point, okay? for that reason. Oh, I would like also to refer to and make part of the record, the site plan, okay? It's in there, but I'm gonna read it very quickly, and I know that if I don't read it in the right place, you can't hear me, so, and everyone's gonna yell at me. All right, the site plan, proposed addition prepared for Geraldine V. Venter, 813 South Road, South Kingstown, Rhode Island, okay? And I believe it is dated 7/10/20 and 6/26/20, okay? And that is by Wesley Grant III, okay? For everything I said, I ask that the petition be granted.
Sorry, can I hear a second?
Second.
Second.
Rosen? Okay. Any discussion? Do we have to tie in the plans as well? Or is it just really the site plan is really all we need, right? Okay. So no other discussion? Okay, Mr. Jurzak,
Aye.
Mr. Rosen,
Aye.
Daniels,
Aye.
Mr. Bernardo,
Aye.
Mr. Cagnetta, aye. Motion passes. Good luck.
I meant, thank you very much. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. Good luck.
All right,
Thank you.
thanks. So what happens next? When can we start? Or do I have to wait for something else? I mean,
So there is an appeals period that's legally required by law. So the decision will be recorded probably by the middle of next week. And then it's a 20-day appeals period based on the date of the recorded decision. And then at that point, you'll be given the go-ahead to go again.
They can contact Judy and Sue. You can contact the office and we can, I can discuss that with
I
you.
know.
oh my God.
Is that good news?
You were just, we've been through a lot.
Well,
Dad.
Best of luck to you folks.
Thank
I
you.
wish you all the best.
good luck.
Thank you.
As much as anything else.
I can need a moment. Okay. You ready for the next one? And I know that. So we have the petition for South County Services Survey Company, LLC, 382B Main Street, South Kingstown, 02879 for a dimensional variance under the zoning ordinance as follows. The applicant is proposing to demolish the existing garage and construct a 24-foot by 26-foot garage with a family recreation room above it to be used by the principal dwelling. The lot is a non-conforming by dimension. The lot is a corner lot and has 2 interior side yards. The garage will be located 1.9 feet from the left side of the property line. Required setback is 15 feet. Relief of 13 feet, 13.1 feet is requested. The garage will also be located 1.6 feet from the side yard of the rear of the garage, which is considered the side yard. Relief of 13.6 feet is requested. The structure will meet the height requirement of 20 feet. Lot size is 7,500 square feet. The dimensional variance is required per zoning ordinance section 208 for non-conforming lot of record accessory building setback requirements. In section 907, the standards of relief. The owner of the property is Michelle Quirk for premises located at 59 Browning Street, Assessors Map 96-1, Lot 32, and zoned R30. Who's here for this application? You're on mute. James? Oh, Jessica, is that you or him? I'm not sure.
I've unmuted them.
Oh,
James needs,
Oh,
there you
I'm
go.
sorry. Can you hear me now?
Very
Yeah.
good.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you, Chairman Cagnetta. Good evening.
good
And
evening.
good evening, members of the board. My name is James Calderon, professional land surveyor. JamesCaldarone. I'm the owner of South County Survey Company. As you stated, the property is located at 59 Browning Street in Green Hill.
Okay, so before you go too far.
Oh, yes, yep, absolutely.
Tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. Please continue.
All right. Like you said, it's a non-conforming lot of record. It's in the R30 zone, and the lot is just 7,500 square feet. First, and perhaps the most important point that I'd like to make is that the dimensional request being applied for is the same as the existing setbacks to the existing garage. We're just replacing the existing garage. It's getting no closer to either the side or the rear setbacks than what is existing currently. The proposed garage, as you stated, will meet the the required height limit for an accessory structure in the R30 zone. The existing garage was built in the 1930s. It is dilapidated and likely dangerous. It consists of an existing one-car garage with a small storage area, an attached carport, and a shed roof used to house trash and recycling. The footprint of the proposed garage and the recreation room above it is the same in width as the existing garage in the attachments, but is 2 feet deeper, getting closer to the street, but no closer to the side or rear property lines. And the proposed garage is not located in a wetland or a perimeter wetland. It is located in a AE flood zone with a base flood elevation of 12, but it will be floodplain compliant. And the existing lot coverage, including the structures, decks, and stairs, it stands at 23.0%, where the allowable for the zone is 20%, even for the the small lot size. And I do want to state here that due to an oversight on my part, I did not include the proposed deck as shown on the building plan, though we did increase the size of the garage by 2 feet in depth. So the proposed building lot coverage shown on the plan is 23.9%, existing 23.0%. We will adhere to the 23.9% being applied for as shown on the plan, either by removing the deck as shown on the building plans or removing 2 feet of the depth of the garage and going back to a 24 by 24 foot structure. And that's basically it. At this time, I'd also like to have the owner sworn in to testify, Shelley.
Okay, just to make sure of one thing. We're doing setback, not so much coverage, right?
That's correct.
Do we have to change, because you're not changing the percentage of coverage? We don't have to ask for that? As
I inquired about that after the meeting last Wednesday night. I spoke with Wayne on Thursday morning, and he seemed to think that it was probably okay because we're going from 23.0 to 23.9%. Is that right, Wayne? Is that acceptable?
Well, we were still at 23%. I mean, technically, it is an increase, but it wasn't an increase that jumped us up to 24. And perhaps Amy, maybe you can kind of weigh in on that.
This is Amy Goins, legal counsel. Is the proposed lot coverage still under the maximum?
No, the existing and the proposed are both over by 3 and 3.9% respectively, due to the small lot size.
The lot coverage has to remain the same. You have two options. You can go forward tonight with the approval, with the understanding that the lot coverage cannot increase from existing, or if you want, it would have to be postponed to September, so it could be re-advertised as requiring relief for lot coverage. Any increase is an increase, and it would require, if it's already over the maximum, it would require relief.
So even if they stay at the 23?
No, if there's an increase over the existing, they need relief from the zoning board. If the lot coverage remains the same, there's no need to request relief for that.
Okay. So
44 by 24.
what are you thinking? Like, what?
I'm sorry. I think at this time I'd like to have Shelley weigh in.
Okay.
If that's appropriate.
Yeah, Shelley, please spell your name and for the, spell your name first.
My name is Michelle Quirk, Michelle, last name Quirk, Quirk.
And you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please go ahead.
I guess I don't understand the language so much, which is why Jim is here. However, all I really want to do is I have a building it's falling apart. So I want to make it safe. The foundation is all broken and falling apart. I want to just put an exact type of building there with a little bit of space above. I only have 900 square feet house.
Mhm.
So the kids have nowhere to go. So if I could just put something above as a rec type space to play cards or whatever, so that we could buy a little more space for overflow. I don't want to I just want to do what's pretty much existing as far as my neighbors. I want it to look aesthetically pleasing. I have garbage outside. I want to put all that inside the garage. So I really would just like to take a building that's falling apart and maybe create a little bit more space for us, as well as make a safe building.
So what is this, your increased square footage is based on going back that 2 feet?
Yes, and if you,
Forward 2 feet, I'm sorry, we'll call it forward towards the
towards,
driveway.
right, and that's because I want to be able to put the garbage inside versus outside. Right now, if you look at the drawing, it's kind of hard, but the garbage, there's like an overhang.
Yep.
The garbage goes, so I don't want my neighbors to have to look at my garbage, I guess.
So what's happening is that just going that extra 2 feet,
Yeah,
you're already asking for the dimension to change, right, to the
Okay.
yard. But you're actually increasing your coverage to the lot, meaning like how many square feet your foundations are.
okay,
So we can either stay with the size you have exactly,
okay.
or we can wait a month and you can ask for the extra 2 feet.
So if we stay exactly the same, I can rip up that foundation and put a safe one in and go from there? Is that what you're saying?
You can have
Essentially?
the exact same footprint you have now, you just can't go that 2 feet.
Okay.
Unless you wait a month and then you can ask for that 2 feet.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Of course, please.
Question for Mr. Calderon. How
Yes.
many square feet over are we talking about?
On the second floor. Oh, I'm sorry. How many square feet over the existing?
Over the existing? How many exact square feet are we talking about?
Bear with me one moment.
2 feet, right? Oh, 0.9. Isn't it 0.9?
No cheating.
We're talking about 67.5 square feet, 67.5 square
All
feet.
right, so removing the shower wouldn't get there, would it?
I don't believe so. No, no.
I mean, that's an issue to begin with, correct?
It is. And as you can see on the plan, we are proposing to modify the shower to cut it back to the existing property line. It, at this time, is 0.8 of a foot over the property line as it stands.
Yep, okay.
As shown on the plan.
Trying to get you there, that's all.
Yep.
Thank you.
Can I
Um,
ask one question, Rick Cherzak?
Yeah.
Just so we can figure out, why can't you comply with the zoning? Why can't you move it to 15 feet and be within present zoning?
Couple of reasons. One, the setback to the existing bottomless sand filter. It's a raised leach field. Excuse me 1 second. And
There's no space.
How close would it be to that sand filter? If you moved it, to comply with the zone?
yeah,
I'm assuming, because I think Ms. Quirk said that you weren't going to build on the present foundation. You were going to put a new foundation in anyway.
that's correct. Right now, as it stands, the proposed foundation will be 12 feet from the existing leach field.
Right now, okay, with the variance, it would be 12 feet from the leach field.
That's correct.
Okay, so obviously you're looking for more than that. So you couldn't meet that qualification. Okay,
We wouldn't want to get any closer to the existing leach field.
okay.
Any other questions, board members?
So, John Bernard here. What's going on the second floor? You're gonna have a bathroom up there?
That's correct. Shelley? Yep.
Yes. A small bathroom, yes.
And, are you looking for to turn this into an apartment or
No.
family?
No, I just really want kind of an open space where the kids could go, like you put a table up there and let them play cards or games. Honestly, the house that I have, it's like I said, it's 900 square feet. So if it's raining or you have adults trying to have a conversation and kids running around, I just wanted an area for them to go to play ping pong or, a game type room.
And by zoning, they are allowed 750 square feet for an accessory building.
Rob, the accessory apartments are not allowed in that zone yet. There's an overlay district that prohibits it over there.
Okay, thank you.
So, and just to go on to answer John's question, we would be very specific in both our permit issuance and a certificate of occupancy that this is not to be used for an accessory apartment at any time in the future.
All right.
Mr.
That will
Chairman,
run with the land then.
I'm sorry, John?
That restriction will run with the deed, with the land.
Correct.
Okay.
so, Mr. Chairman, a question again,
Yes, Mr. Daniel.
if I may, for Mr. Calderon.
Yes.
If your footprint is exactly the same, why are we going over? Is it a deck on the side?
It's actually not exactly the same. We're getting 2 feet. We're getting 2 feet larger, going towards the road, not towards any of the property lines, but just straight towards the road.
Okay.
Yep.
So the footprint is slightly
That's
bigger.
correct. Yes.
Okay, I get it.
The foundation wall.
I mean, I've been out there, I've seen the situation, and I would agree that there's no place else you can put the structure, and the current structure is
Falling apart.
needs to go.
It's falling apart.
I'm looking for a way around the lot coverage, obviously.
It's leaving the footprint the same as, and we can continue tonight if we leave the footprint the same. We just can't change the square footage of the footprint.
All right, well. Yeah, I guess the only reason I was doing is because the way that the garage is now, I don't know how to explain it, but in the back, it's like a big closet. So I wanted to be able to use a little bit more storage there. If I have to stay where it is, I'll stay where it is. I'm not looking to do anything much bigger. I just was trying to get a little bit of storage for the kayaks, the bikes, everything.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
that's the case. I'll work with what I can do.
Well, I'll make sure this is the case with Ms. Goins. But if you did want to get the extra 1.5 feet, it's not as if you have to represent.
Okay.
Correct? We can continue this for next month for the advertising of the extra 1.5 feet,
We could do that.
and then we can continue the petition. Is that correct, Amy? Or is it a whole new petition at that point?
It's really the same petition.
Okay, so you wouldn't necessarily need to go through all of this again.
Okay.
It'd just be a matter of that your neighbors are aware of the fact you're covering more of your lot.
Mhm.
And if anyone objected to that, they would have a chance to speak up.
Okay.
So if you wanted to, if you feel confident that nobody's gonna come out and speak against, you can wait a month and ask for that extra 1.5 feet and filing the appropriate paperwork and so forth. But
And do I do that through you? Or is that something I do through Jim?
you would do that through the building inspector's office,
Okay.
or whatever way you had done it before. But I'm not sure. I don't know, Amy or Wayne, if you
Yeah.
want.
We consider it an amendment to the application when something was left out of the original notice or when the plans have been slightly altered. That way they don't have to pay for a second application. It would just be the notice that's published in the newspaper and sent to abutters would be amended, and the site plan would have to be changed and a new one submitted with whatever additional relief was required.
So for the applicant, the extra expense is the postage, and then having the plans. Well, the plans are as they want them right now, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Alter that. Amy? Because that,
If the plans depict what they want, then no, that the plans would not need to be altered.
okay, so it's just the appropriate notice to the neighbors.
Yep.
That you're responsible for the cost of that.
Okay, so if I don't change anything, I'm good. If this gets approved tonight and I don't do that extra, then I'm good. If I stay within that footprint, right? Then I can go forward. Okay.
Correct.
Well,
Yep.
that's probably what I'd like to do then. Because
Great. Okay, so based on that, Mr. Calderon, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about with this?
No, there's nothing on my end.
So the proposed application is to keep the footprint the same and to replace the existing with a new structure for all intents and purposes.
That's correct.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, excuse me. I mean, we have testimony from the engineer that they're over the limit. I don't know how we ignore that.
No, they're going to maintain the same footprint that is there now, so they're not getting any closer to the sidelines.
Well, don't we need to see it? Wouldn't we need to see a new site plan? I'm not trying to be difficult,
It's-
but
Yeah, Tom, that's up to the board. If the board wants to see the new site plan, they can force the applicant to come back. If the board is comfortable doing two things, the first being tonight in your decision, if it's approved, you specifically note the restrictions. And then the second safeguard you would have is you'd require as a condition of approval, an amended site plan be submitted to the building official before issuance of a building permit. So it's really what the board is comfortable with.
okay.
I have a question. I heard Mr. Calderon say that the reason that they were going, let me step back. The reason that he had mentioned anything about the 23.9 square feet was because he omitted the deck from the calculation. Is that correct, Mr. Calderon?
Yes, that's correct.
And the deck is still going to be there, right?
If we need to adhere to 23.0%, then the deck will not be there.
Ah, okay. That's why, okay, I wanted to just clear that up.
Can I ask one question, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Calderon, Rick Cherzak here?
Yes.
Do you, excuse my ignorance, but do you have to do anything with the DEM with hooking this bathroom into this present septic system?
Yes, we do. I am a licensed septic designer. We are going to submit a plan to DEM to hook up the bathroom to the existing septic system, but it is allowed. We're not adding a bedroom, so we're not adding flow. It's allowed by right.
Okay, okay.
Any other questions, board members, for the applicant or the engineer? Survey, engineer?
Surveyor.
Surveyor.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Jessica.
we do have a phone-in attendee. So instead of going through everything, I'm just going to allow them to talk if they want to. And then the other thing that should be noted is there were 5 letters of objection, so those should also be referenced.
Yes.
So I'm going to allow this person whose phone number is ending in 771, if they have anything they wish to say. If not, they can just say they don't. And to unmute yourself on your phone, you're going to need to hit *6.
Is the caller there?
I see someone, but they're not. So again, *6 will mute and unmute you on the phone.
Maybe it's a rotary phone.
Now you're dating yourself there, Mr. Bernardo.
Thanks for noticing.
We'll give them a chance if they do want to speak up. We'll make sure that we're giving them an opportunity. And forgive me, I did not had them all organized last week. I totally forgot to organize them this week. Jessica, do you have those?
I do. So you want me to review them?
Please.
Okay. I have 2 letters received from Bert Hess. There's basically one letter, and then the second letter kind of is an amendment to the first letter. They were received on October 14th and August 14th and August 17th. He is in a butter, and his big questions are about the 2-foot rear distance. And he wants to know how you can properly maintain or repair that when you may need to go on the abutter's property. I have a letter from Maura Herson Yanuk and Marcia Toxin. That's dated August 17th. They're stating that they're not objecting to the rebuilding of the garage. They're just objecting to the scale of the project. And they're specifically concerned about the addition of a 2nd-story area that includes a family rec room, a bathroom, and deck. I have a letter from David Carlson dated August 18th. He's also in a butter. It is in a flood zone with less than 2 feet of clearance to the neighbors in the rear. So he's concerned about the distance. And then I have one letter from Richard de Blasio dated August 18th. Let me see here. He's stating that he is a year-round resident. He is the one who I believe the shower is on his property. So he's already concerned about the setbacks and the encroachment onto the property. He's a little bit concerned about lot coverage. And that's basically it, but he's most concerned, it seems to be, about the encroaching on the property line.
It's already there.
Okay. So, Mr. Calderon, what are your thoughts on some of the concerns of the neighbors?
Sure. Let's see here. Let me go right back to the beginning. I have the letters open here. I'll start with Bert Hess, I believe it was. Let's see. She asks about a garage with a 2nd level consisting of 2 full-size dormers, a bathroom, and a shower. 20-foot by 4-foot deck extension. Let's see here, and rear distances on the right side of less than 2 feet each. I mean, in response to the questions about the setbacks, we're not getting any closer to the property lines than the existing structure that's there. The zone allows for a height of an accessory structure of 20 feet. So we're not going to ask for any more than that. I don't believe there's any restriction against having a rec room above the garage. And I think if it's going to be used as a rec room, it makes sense for there to be a bathroom there rather than running back, having her kids running back and forth to the house to use the bathroom, if that's what, has to happen. Let's see. The second letter, basically the same thing. It's concerned about the addition of a 2nd story. Again, that's allowed. Also, I would say that there's plenty of precedent in the neighborhood. In fact, and Shelley could speak to this, but there's another garage right in the corner of Green Hill Beach Road and Browning Street that she saw and liked, and we're kind of modeling that almost exactly, the same as the one that's on the corner there. Let's see here, David Carlson. Non-conforming lot in a flood zone, less than 2 feet of clearance to the neighbors. Again, I think we've covered those. And then, of course, Mr. de Blasio, who is the next door neighbor, who the shower does encroach onto his property. Again, we are proposing as part of this application to remove the portion of the shower that is over the line. And I do believe, again, I would defer to Shelley on this, but I believe she purchased a home with that shower in place. So I think that's a pre-existing non-conforming condition. I don't know if there's anything more than I can add than that information.
And tell me a bit about the adjoining properties relative to the garage. For the record, is it just 2 feet that's between that building and another building? Is there, what's the distances?
No, not at all. In fact, on the De Blasio property, 2 feet away from the property line, is Shelley's garage. And then over the property line going the other way, probably, I'm not exactly sure, it might be 4 or 5 feet. In fact, I might have it in my CAD drawing if I do have it in my CAD drawing. So behind her garage, 4.7 feet from the property line onto their property is their garage. So it's just a garage backed up against a garage with about 6 feet of clearance between them, or 5 and change feet of clearance between them.
And have there been maintenance concerns or issues relative to each of the neighbors for getting to their outbuildings? At any time?
Not that I'm aware of.
Michelle, how long have you been there?
This is I believe my third year there.
And has there been an issue with any debris or anything sort of building up between these respective garages?
Not on my end, not at all.
Okay. Board members, questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Is there, Mr. Chairman, I want to ask a question of Michelle quick. Is there a tenant in the current garage right now?
A tenant?
Yes.
No, it's just kayaks, bikes, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Garbage can, that just, I guess, supplies and toys.
Gotcha.
Ms. Quirk, this is Tom Daniels.
Yes.
The space between where the shower is located and the abutting neighbor, is that his driveway there?
Yeah, so let me just shed some light on this. Shower was existing. Again, it was like my garage falling apart. So I just did the same exact thing. When I had Jim do the surveying for the garage project, that's when I found out that the shower was over. I approached them and said, I just found out that it's over. I will fix it. I'm trying to do the right thing for the garage. Could I fix everything at once? That's how I didn't even know. I just did exactly what was there. So I didn't, and then I was up front with him. So he does have a driveway that is there.
Okay, so
That's where his driveway is.
so that's not you don't use that driveway. Your
No.
driveway is over where the garage is now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, can I just ask one thing of Amy? Okay, perhaps Rick Cherzak here. Okay, you got to unmute yourself, Amy. Amy, if they were just to leave a couple of 2x4s and rebuild this garage totally on the present foundation, do they need anything?
No.
Reconstruction and repair is allowed on the same footprint with just a building permit, not with zoning board approval.
Okay, what
Wayne,
about?
you concur with me on that?
Yeah, I would concur, as long as it doesn't intensify the building itself. In this case, they're adding a second floor, so that triggers.
So that's the reason, because of the intensification, so that even if they left a small section, but since they're putting a second floor on, then they would need the variance.
If they wanted to rebuild in kind, then that would be one thing, but the intensification triggers section of the ordinance, which requires.
Okay, that answers my question. Thank you.
I see, this is Amy. I see the phone call listener has unmuted.
I texted them, Amy,
Oh.
to make sure that they didn't want to speak and they had nothing to say, so.
All right, great.
Board members, any other questions for the applicant or Mr. Calderon?
Yeah, this is Bill Rosen. Is the foundation on the garage going to be rebuilt? Or are you going to use the same foundation?
It will be replaced.
And in terms of construction, is there any concern about completing construction without using the neighbor's property? Like, will you be able to rebuild it without being on their property?
not sure I'm qualified to state that as a surveyor. I would, in my professional opinion, do I think it can be done? Yes, I do. Yeah, I think it can be. I think a foundation can be constructed without impeding, without encroaching or rather trespassing, over property lines. But again, I would say, as a surveyor, it's probably not my place to say.
So, Ms. Quirk, just so you know, that could be a concern.
Okay,
It is something that is being built very close, so they'll have to build from the inside out,
okay,
sort of. But just certainly make them aware of the property lines if it passes the board.
Okay.
Because you keep good neighbors that way.
yeah, and just as far as the foundation goes, I would have kept it if I could. It's fallen apart. It's dangerous. That's why I want to redo it. That answers the question on the foundation.
No, 2 feet is tight for
Yeah.
a building site. It's not impossible, but it's just that awareness of,
Mhm.
I'm just wondering, Rick Cherzak here, I'm just wondering if that's the case. I mean, would you consider moving this thing a little bit to giving yourself some space? I mean, it sounds like you're gonna have issues here, but, I mean, I don't mean you wouldn't totally comply with the zoning ordinance, but, I mean, you're gonna build a foundation with 1.5 feet. Well, in any event.
I mean, they'll have to know that they're within that restriction
Yeah,
to build it.
understood.
Yeah, and I think we just have to decide as if we think that's appropriate, if they should be farther away.
Can I ask you, Mr. Chairman, if we granted it and then they changed their mind down the line, maybe this is a question for Amy. Could they go and still build, say 2 feet and pick 2 feet up on either side, 2 feet less? And that would still be okay, right?
Yes, when someone receives zoning relief and then they decide they want to build smaller, less relief than they would have need, they're not required to come back to the zoning board to get an amended approval. They only have to come back to the board if they need to expand if they need more relief than the board granted.
Okay.
So just to pick up on my colleague, Mr. Jerzak's question, I really didn't hear an answer. Could we move it, say 6 or 7 feet towards the OWTS without a problem, and then gives you a little more space on that back line?
Is he asking me or Jim?
I'm looking at the plan right now. Could we move the garage straight forward slightly? See here, I'm looking at the setbacks. I'm looking at the front setbacks. If I may ask the question, I think I know the answer, but in the zoning regulations, the front setback is, let's see here, I have that on the plan. The front setback is 25 feet. Obviously, we don't meet that, but I believe in the zoning ordinance, it says that the accessory structure can be as far forward as the existing principal structure, if I'm not mistaken. So could we come forward? I think technically we could. The existing principal structure is 19.3 feet from the property line, from the front property line.
Right.
The existing garage is 24.1. We were proposing when the garage was 2 feet deeper to be 22.4 feet from the front property line. Could we then come another, what is that, 2.9 feet forward? I think we could. We wouldn't be getting any closer to the septic. I don't think we can get any closer to the, we can't slide the garage away from the sideline. We are already, I believe, and I have to check, too close to the leach field, the bottomless sand filter.
You could come to the north potentially, because you're 19.3 feet, the house is 19.3.
Correct, yeah.
So
we couldn't come any further forward than that.
Okay, I guess I don't see the leach field there, so we're.
Yeah, on the site plan, it's between the house and the garage. It's a raised bottomless sand filter system.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yep.
So you couldn't come to the east, to the right side. In other words, if you're looking at the.
Correct. But could we come forward? I'll say potentially.
Closer to the house, in other words.
No, I'm saying closer to the street, sorry. Closer to Browning Street.
So in other words, you'd still have a 1.6 foot on the side yard, but you could increase the 1.9 you're asking for on the other side yard. correct?
No, the other way around. In fact, because we're on a corner here, Surfside Avenue, actually the front is facing Browning Street. The front is Browning Street. So we could increase on the 1.6 foot setback from the rear property line, but I don't think that we can increase the 1.9 from the side.
Okay, all right.
Couldn't you square it off? Excuse me. It looks like the building's out of the square to the property line. If you squared it off, wouldn't you have more room?
That's what we're trying to do.
Whoa, let me see here. It looks like it's out of square to the property line.
Yes, the westerly property line.
The westerly property line. Let me see here.
Yeah, you're 1.9 feet on the southwesterly.
Yep, and I'm checking the north. I've got, let me see here. The existing building is 1.96 feet at the southwesterly corner from the sideline, the westerly line, and
Right.
it's 2.03 at the 2.03
Right.
at the
Yeah,
north.
forget it. That's not worth it.
Yeah, we're talking about 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah, never mind. I think we're done trying to redo your plans.
We-
Or at least I am.
Do you find it helpful at all to move it forward? Is it helpful within your planning, within how you're servicing the building? Sounds like that it would be helpful to the neighbor.
I would defer to Shelley on that. That's,
I mean, like I said, I'll do what you tell me to do. The problem is if you move it too far forward, that's where we park. So I don't want to be out on the street, obviously, right? So right now we can fit 2 cars there, side by side. We do have a little bit of room. I could move it a little bit, but honestly, he doesn't have anything there. You know, again, it's personal, but I'm not sure what the issue is. He's got garbage cans there. That's it, next to his garage. So I can, if you ask me to move it forward, I can. I don't have a lot of room to be able to, because that's where I park. And between that and the corner of that leach field area, that walkway, we don't have a lot of space. It's a very small space there. So.
And it's existing.
It's existing,
not-
yes.
Okay.
So if you ask me to move it a foot, I can do it. I don't have a lot of wiggle room.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just make a quick comment.
Yes, sir.
The applicant should know, and Jim should know, that the building code requires the fire rating and limits the amount of openings on walls from the property line. So you might want to call the office to find out what that is, because you might be restricted not even having windows on either one of those walls. And that both of those walls are going to have to be fire rated.
Of the garage, you mean, or the above?
Both-
Yeah.
But the garage and the second floor will have to be rated. We can discuss that. That may give you a decision to move it forward so you can meet that requirement.
So, but they can't move it forward unless we grant it because they are getting closer to the front.
Well, there is an alignment provision in the ordinance that allows them to align with abutting properties, abutting structures on each side.
thank
So
you.
they can potentially move up 2.5 feet or so, potentially. If it changes, right, okay. So if we grant it to be where it is, they can still move it forward and change and okay. I think I
Okay.
understand. You guys understand. It's more important for you to understand than it is.
And
You-
as far as the parking concern, once you have the garage, you're going to be parking inside, I assume, so.
Well, I mean, I have kayaks and bikes and, you know, all the kids' stuff and grills and garbage cans. So I usually park outside of the garage in the driveway. 'cause I have
But with the new garage, can
Maybe, yeah, yes. Maybe,
depending on how much junk you have around.
Yes,
I
yeah.
understand.
Trying not
I got the same problem, so.
yeah.
Board members, any other questions? Comments, concerns?
No.
So, Mr. Jurczak, how you feeling? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't have a whole lot of problem with it. I foresee an issue for Ms. Quirk when she starts that construction with being that close to the property line, with putting the foundation in. But if you say you can do it, you can do it. I don't know how you're gonna do a hole and have it not cave in and everything, but I'm not, I mean, obviously it's not hurting the neighborhood. I don't think, I mean, it's a decrepit garage and I think the structure you're putting up looks pretty nice. All right. It's not getting any closer to the property lines and, I mean, there's nothing that jumps out at me. Okay, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Daniels, how you feeling?
You know, I think it's certainly an improvement to the property, having been there and taken a pretty good look at what exists. I know the applicant indicated that she was willing to go ahead this evening and consider removing the deck. I wonder if she wants to rethink that, because we can certainly get back in a month, I would say, and deal with that issue that puts her 4 or 5 tenths over the limit for lot coverage. But you know, it requires an advertisement and not a permit fee, as I understand it. It wouldn't be a big burden, and you'd get your deck. So
well, they want to go.
That is,
it's going forward 2 more feet or so.
Right.
Is what they need, not so much the deck is what they're asking for. But.
Well, but to meet it currently, as of today, they're going to forego the deck. So I'm just wondering if she'd want to reconsider that and come back, and we'll do it all in one shot. I'm certainly not opposed to granting it tonight, but I hate to see you restricted from what you really want to do.
I would like to put a deck there, but I will also make whatever I can do, I will work with what you're telling me. I mean, I would like to put a deck up there because it would be nice, and everybody else has them. It'd be nice to see the ocean and have a little bit of space for the adults, or, you know, if I could do that, I would like to do it. Then I have to send letters out again, and then what, people can object again. I don't want to jeopardize putting my garage up, because that's going to fall down. So if I could do the deck, I'd like to, you know.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to note too, if she does choose to go that route, it would be the October hearing, because the September deadline to advertise is already passed. So it would move it to October 21st if she chooses that option.
Okay.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Would she be able to come back later if she wanted to put a deck on at a later date, say down the road, a year from now, 2 years from now?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mr. Bernardo, how you feeling?
I think some of the concern of the neighbors anyway is that the upstairs wasn't going to be used as an accessory apartment. But I think we've already covered that, so I don't have any problems with this request.
Okay. Great. And then, Mr. Rosen, how you feeling?
I think all the questions have been answered. They answered all the questions of the objectors, and they're actually going ahead with something that they haven't proposed. They backed away from that, and as was stated, they can come back a year from now if they want to get that deck. So I have no objection to them moving forward at this point.
Well, I kind of agree with my colleagues in both if they wanted to expand. Now we know they can come back. I mean, it's not any bigger than it already is. The neighborhood is already really kind of tight. So I think it certainly fits the criteria for the dimensional variance. So if there isn't anyone else that's here to speak on
Can I
behalf.
just, may I ask a question?
Sure.
As far as the deck goes, I do want to do a deck. Are you saying that if this gets approved now, I can't do a deck at all?
Not with this petition, but you can ask again and put a deck on.
So
That's-
I guess that's where I want to go then, because I would like to put a small deck up there. So if I need to push this off till October to do that, is that what I have to do? I guess I'm not quite understanding,
Sure.
sorry.
You could either treat it as you get this one.
Okay,
And then you can at least build this, and then in a month or two, you can ask for the deck, except, and have the deck. So only the deck would be denied if it's denied at that point. Or you wait and add the deck and try to go for the whole thing all at once.
Will you have what you have now?
well, what do you mean?
In a month, would it be?
Mr. Chairman, wouldn't the issue be a refile and the cost of refiling if she?
Correct. Obviously, yes. But at least if we approve it now, they can have the garage regardless of a deck or not.
All right, I guess and I don't know building, and you do, so would that affect how they build it? Like if I was gonna get a deck put in, does that affect how they build this garage? I guess that's what I'm concerned about. I don't want to be penny wise and pound foolish.
Yeah, it depends how you build it.
Right.
It could be an extension of the floor system.
Right.
Or it can have its own support, and it's not really tall one, so you can, support it to the ground as a deck. I wouldn't say that it's a terrible difference, aside from the fact that you want to get out of the second floor with a door, not a
Right.
window.
Right.
So you want to catch them before they get to that point, obviously. But the season, I don't know when you're planning on breaking ground.
At this point, it probably wouldn't be to next year at the rate it's going, so.
So, and you're allowed 1 year at this point, or is it 2 years that this is good for?
1 year, this is Amy, it's 1 year unless it's conditioned on state or federal permits, which I don't think this would be, but
And you get some.
So you have a year to do the project.
Okay,
So they could break ground in the spring and you can be through this whole entire process.
so Jim, does Jim have to redo this, the way that the drawing is now, right? It's over 2 feet. Do I have to have him redo that and then submit again? How?
Well, if we approve it to that it stands on the same footprint, then he will have to submit a new drawing to the building inspector. It'll be a condition of the approval. So yes, he will have to make that, anyway. And then if you want the deck, you'll have to apply and add the deck to the drawing and then submit it.
I gotta have him do that.
So, but it's two separate applications.
Okay, so it's gonna be 2 regardless, is what you're saying now, and,
You can add to this application,
okay,
go in 2 months. Add the deck to this petition.
and then I come back in 2 months.
Yep. And we finish, it will be a continuation, so we'll finish talking about it in 2 months.
Okay, can I
Okay.
just add, can I add one thing to that, Mr.
Please, sir.
Cagnetta?
Just-
We got 5 people here today. I will not be here in October,
Okay,
so that you're not gonna come back and, Amy, right?
if we are talking about continuing this application, it needs to be continued to a meeting with the same members that are here tonight. If that can't happen, it's going to have to be treated as a new application for purposes of the hearing.
but how long we can do a continuation until December? Correct?
Sure, as long as it's continued to a date certain, and as long as all of you here tonight will be at whatever date it's going to be continued to.
And the good news is you'll be first in the first.
Okay,
So if you feel that people aren't gonna jump out of the woodwork saying the deck is bad, it's the risk of jeopardizing the whole project over the deck. I'm not saying that's gonna happen, but that's what can happen. That's the only risk.
Would the garage be stopped?
that would stop the garage.
That would stop the garage technically. Well, no, we can eliminate the deck.
And then, yeah, see that?
And then approve what we're approving or what could potentially be approved tonight.
Okay,
Just you're not paying twice for the whole application. Is kind of the difference.
if I continue it, you're saying.
If you continue, you're not paying twice, correct?
So is that what you want? All right, then I'll do that because I want a deck. And so I guess that's what I need to do.
So, what is the date of the meeting in December, Jessica?
November?
November? Will you be here in November, Mr. Jezak?
No,
Not in November.
no, I will not be here October or November.
Will
We'll
you
be
be
here
here in
December.
December?
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
16, I think, right?
I'm doing it now.
16, no, December 16?
Yes, December 16.
Is everyone, all the board members available on December 16th, as far as we know?
If the virus doesn't get me, yeah.
Yeah, that goes for all of us, right?
Yeah, it does.
Hurricane.
And will you have any issues, Mr. Calderon, for altering the plans and doing all the submittals?
No problem at all.
No problem. So, Michelle, you're fine with
Yes,
number 16th?
yes.
Is there anyone, and you're clear as to what we're looking for?
I think so. And if not, I'm gonna go to Jim.
And Jim, you can ask Wayne.
Yes, yeah, we're good.
Okay. So is there anyone here that would like to make a motion to continue the petition till December 16th?
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay.
I move to continue the petition of South County Survey Company LLC for property owned by Michelle Quirk. The premises are located at 59 Browning Street. The description of the application has already been read into the record. And this is a continuation so that the site plan can be modified and so that the board can deal with an increase in the footprint on the current property because it is a non-conforming lot. So at the request of the petitioner, we wish to continue this matter until the December 16th zoning board meeting. So moved.
Fantastic. Mr. Daniels made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rosen. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Daniels,
Aye.
Mr. Rosen,
Aye.
Jozak,
Aye.
Bernardo,
Aye.
aye. Mr. Pagnetta, aye. Motion passes. We'll see you guys in a couple of months.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And is there anything else that we need to cover, Jessica? A roll call for next month, anything like that?
Yeah, we can go over that and there's no minutes yet, so.
Were you offended by my introduction of you?
Hardly.
Okay. Anyone else have anything to add? If not,
Yeah, this is Wayne. I got something to add.
please.
I just want to let everyone know that unfortunately, I'm deciding to retire from the town and move on to actually another position in another town effective in a couple of weeks. I got to say it's with a heavy heart that I say that. But it's been a pleasure working with all of you. You've all been extremely professional, and I'll tell you, it's been enjoyable. So I really will miss all of you, and perhaps I'll sit in on a future Zoom meeting to say hello. Jamie Gorman, who you saw at the last meeting, will be filling in for me. He's undergoing some further testing that he needs to get on his belt to become a certified building official, which I know he'll do. Jamie is an ideal candidate, and I know he'll do a great job. So this was totally unexpected. It came about within the last few weeks. And like I said, it's been a pleasure working with each and every one of you. So thank you.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wayne. We'll miss you for sure. Thank you very much.
That's for
And
sure.
maybe I'll join you at the Muse for a beer or two.
That'll
That'll work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah, I'll be
good
there in I'll be there in a half hour, Wayne.
And Jamie, we're gonna be, really hitting on you hard now, just to break you in, so.
He'll be able to handle it. He's really good. Go ahead, Jamie.
Oh, no volume, Jamie.
Yeah. Wait until you meet us in person now. You think this is fun?
That's all I have to say, so thanks.
Okay.
Best of luck.
We
Wayne.
can't hear you, so,
Oh, good.
yeah, well, maybe that's a good thing. No.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Wayne, and we're sorry to see you go, but it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you as well. Same. Thanks.
Anybody else leaving, or is this?
I told Jess, don't get any ideas.
Awesome. Well, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thanks. Good
Thanks.
night.
And everyone.
Good night.
Aye.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Take care.
Wayne.